Okay, so welcome to our day 4 warm-ups. We're going to start out with problem number 1, which is from our transformations unit. One of the big things that we talked about when we studied that unit was making sure that you saw the difference between your new and your old shape. Remember, the new one is always the one that has the tick marks. Now, if we look at what happened between these two shapes, we should notice that they're not the same size. And the only transformation that we had that where the size changed is a dilation. And remember, dilations revolved around scale factors. And if we didn't know the scale factor, we could easily calculate it by doing the new shape, which is the one with the tick mark, divided by the old shape. So I'm going to find a number from my new shape. And I think I'm going to use... Ooh, I like the K, because K lies perfectly on coordinate points. So I'm going to use the X value on the K and the X value on the new K. It looks like my new is 3 and my original is at the X coordinate of 2. That gives me a scale factor of 3 over 2. And remember, all of our rules are written the same way, X, Y, and an arrow. Since this is a dilation, it means that we're multiplying. And so I'm going to take my scale factor and multiply it by all of the X values and my scale factor and multiply it by all the Y values, which leaves you with option A. Now, for problem number 2, this is from our volume and surface area unit. Now, if you remember, the volume of a cone is 1/3 B, big B, H. And remember, capital B, it talks about the area of the base. And on a cone, my base is a circle. So I'm going to swap capital B out for the area of a circle. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. And this is definitely something that you could have Googled or, looked up on Google to get that formula. Okay, once I have my formula, I'm going to start taking my numbers and plugging them in. So I have 1/3, I have pi, I have my radius is 4, and I'm going to square that. And then I have my height, which is multiplied by 14. I'm using parentheses to show that I'm multiplying. And then now I'm going to put this all into my calculator. And that gives me a final answer of 234.57. Okay, and then for the very last problem is actually a Pythagorean theorem problem. Remember, my Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then I have my right angle here. Now, since this is where my right angle is, across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse. That's going to be my 37. I'm going to square that. And then my leg, one of the legs is missing, but the other leg is 30, and we're going to square that. So the next step is to make sure that you square all of your numbers. So let's start with 30 times 30, which is, so we have a squared plus 900 is equal to 1,369. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is subtract 900 from both sides. That gives me a squared is equal to 469. And then the next thing I'm going to do is square root. I don't know if you remember us talking about the opposite of something squared is the square root, and what you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. And that gives you a final answer of about 21. Let's make sure we round this correctly. 0.66. So you could do 21.66, maybe 21.7, but make sure that as you're writing down your numbers that you are rounding correctly. And that concludes the warm-up for day 4.